Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really incredible data anomaly from day 273 of the PLAZM protocol. We're looking at this fascinating scenario where a massive market panic essentially ran headfirst into an entirely unexpected price surge. As someone who loves seeing how systems hold up under intense pressure, well, this specific day gives us the perfect case study in protocol mechanics. Let's just jump right in. Here's the roadmap for today. We'll be hitting market chaos and the PLAZM rally, the vault resiliency test, bonds and yield compounding, holder behavior under pressure, and finally, we'll weigh whether this is genuine resilience or just a statistical anomaly. All right, section 1, market chaos and how PLAZM rallies. The crucial thing we need to start with is setting the macro context because honestly, across the board, it was overwhelmingly negative. So yesterday, the fear and greed index was sitting at 18. Today, it absolutely crashed down to 12. That's a clear signal of deepening extreme fear across the crypto landscape. Sentiment was actively getting worse. Yet while the broader market was plunging, PLAZM somehow inverted that panic. It actually rallied, surging up 4.68% to hit $0.0188. It's a completely counterintuitive move that immediately points to protocol-specific strength, entirely decoupled from the wider panic. And this really illustrates that decoupling perfectly. PLAZM is up 4.68% and eShare is up 1.63%, but the market leaders, they basically stalled out. Ethereum barely had a pulse, eking out a tiny 0.28% gain, while Bitcoin actually fell by 0.32%. PLAZM just completely ignored the macro gravity here. What's really crazy about this is that we're talking about a 16x outperformance against Ethereum. During extreme fear, altcoins are supposed to get crushed. When that index hits 12, smaller market cap tokens usually bleed out the fastest. But instead, we get this massive 16x multiple. Moving into section 2, the vault resilience test. Price action is one thing, right? But the actual capital stored inside the protocol tells the true story of its health. Typically, DeFi vaults just hemorrhage capital during a panic. Users rush for the exits. But PLAZM's vault did the exact opposite. Despite that deepening extreme fear, the vault actually grew. It added 0.245 ETH, bumping it up from 233.23 to 233.47 ETH. In USD terms, that's an extra $1,709 added, bringing the total vault value up to a solid $368,586. The reason behind this is what's so fascinating. This steady growth is happening without any new capital flowing in, simply because the underlying yield funding literally does not care about market sentiment. For anyone exhausted by emotionally driven market swings, this is exactly what a pure, mechanical, real yield engine looks like. It just keeps churning, completely blind to whether human traders are panicking or celebrating. Which brings us to section 3, bonds and yield compounding. So if the market's bleeding and no new retail money is coming in, where exactly did this yield come from? Let's look under the hood. Checking out the bond mechanics, the bond APR held incredibly strong at 32.48%, right through the deepening fear. I mean, maintaining a yield over 32% while the rest of the market is contracting, that is a massive stress test pass for the protocol's internal economy. Let's break down the actual gears turning in this yield engine. Pure compounding was actively doing the heavy lifting here. The total bond count jumped by 28 today, hitting 16,157, and that was completely fueled by the protocol's own reinvestment cycle. The lifetime buy and burn has hit $99,000, buy and build is sitting at $32,840, and the buy and grow mechanism organically compounded 2.88 new bonds today just through yield reinvestment. Consistency is absolutely the star of the show today. Just look at the numbers. A rock-solid daily yield of $327.97, relentlessly adding up. It pushed the protocol's claimed profits to a really impressive $163,894.65. It's just a flat, reliable line of yield cutting right through the center of a market storm. Okay, section 4, holder behavior under pressure. Because at the end of the day, mechanics only matter if the humans actually using them hold steady. Let's see how token holders reacted to the pressure cooker. Out of the 15.82 million total supply of PLAZM, you normally expect the liquid supply percentage to spike during a capitulation event, right? People panic, unwind their positions, and dump. But here, the 12.15 million liquid tokens held perfectly stable at 59%. Alongside that, we have 23% burned, 10% sitting in LP, and 8% staked. There was zero panic unwinding. The holders absolutely held their ground. And looking ahead, the forecast is clear skies. For the next 80 days, there are no massive supply cliffs waiting to flood the market. In fact, if we look at the upcoming Day 277 release, it's just 1,759 PLAZM. That's roughly $33. It's a completely negligible amount, which means the protocol's continuous buying pressure faces virtually zero offset from token unlocks. Finally, Section 5, Resilience or Statistical Anomaly. It's time to synthesize everything and deliver our verdict on Day 273. We've seen the price, the vault, the yield, the holders. What's the takeaway? Seeing the Fear and Greed Index crash to 12, while PLAZM surges 4.68%, gives us a highly negative beta. It literally moved in the exact opposite direction of the market's gravity. It shows the yield engine passed this resilience test with flying colors. Not because of hype, but because of protocol mechanics operating in total isolation from the broader market sentiment. Now, as data-driven investigators, I do have to explicitly remind you that this explainer is strictly for educational purposes. It's not financial advice. Crypto is inherently wild, and one single day of negative beta, no matter how impressive it is, does not guarantee future market behavior. You've always got to do your own research. Which leaves us with the ultimate question to ponder as we wrap up. Day 273 absolutely proved that PLAZM's mechanics work flawlessly under extreme fear. But is this one-day performance a true signal of long-term sustained anti-fragility, or was it just a truly fascinating statistical anomaly? I'll let you look at the data and decide for yourself. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.